Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor here. Today, it's Sunday, so again, we're going to do a What Sold on eBay. We're just going to hop over the screen, and I'm going to show you some things that we sold. Okay, so the first item here is just a standard sheet music. The good thing about this one is it was made by Walt Disney. Now, a lot of people just look for the Disney titles. I look for who actually made them as well, too. It's Burbank. It's their first original early address for their music division. It's of Vaughn Monroe singing Guns. It's from a movie. Disney didn't have a bunch to do with it, but they did publish other things at the same time. So this is a perfect example. Anything that usually has Disney on it that's not a Disney character usually has potential to sell for at least $8-10. Any of these sheet musics. It went for my full asking price, $14.50. I expected $8. Again, I buy these in big bulk lots, sometimes by the pound, where I'm maybe have a nickel into each sheet music, so I can trash a whole bunch if I need to. And basically what I do if I can't sell some is I'll just put them in a lot, or I will take them back to a local live auction and let the auction them off that way and let somebody else deal with the rest of them. That's what I do with most things. If I don't bulk them on eBay, I'll just live auction them. So anyway, next item here, I had a whole mess of these, and I mean a mess of these. Maybe like 95 of these. I could sell all but a couple on Amazon FBA. This one here has some box issues, and I don't sell anything like that. If you look at the back left over there, not only has the tape been removed, but the left side over there, you can see how the flap is actually ripped. Unless it's mint, nothing goes to Amazon. You don't want to play any chances on that at all. So $13.50 is about what I get for most of these. Amazon, I get a few dollars more, but you know, again, this is damaged. I've long since paid for these. So anyway, when you can't send it into FBA, I don't know how many times I've missed something in the past. Nowadays, I check everything out, but a lot of people will run into this problem. They'll just buy a bunch of stuff for FBA, and they won't really examine the boxes closely enough. So then at the end of the day, they'll have damaged ones, dinged ones, ripped ones, corners bent or smashed or something, and you can't send those into Amazon. I wouldn't anyway. I wouldn't run the risk of having an issue with it. So $13.50. Catalog, $20.62. I buy these in big stacks. Sometimes I can get a case, like a big box, banana box full of these for like $10. Sometimes, obviously, I pay more than that, but this one was a real cheap one. I've got maybe a dime into this one here, so paper. A lot of people just don't think it's worth much on stuff like this, but most of them will sell. It's not going to be a quick mover. This one was up for maybe 3 months. So return on my investment, it's like, you know, $15-16 minimum after all said and done on that. So I had a bunch of these. I've literally listed a few at a time. I never would recommend listing all of what you have at once, because then they're going to see a bunch of them. If there's only one or two up at a time, it's going to look rarer than it is. As long as you're not quoting it's rare or saying there's only so many of these around, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You stagger it in the market. If you put any, like a ton of anything in the market, it's going to flood it, and then the price is going to go down. This is how I keep my prices up. I'll only list so many at a time. This was from like maybe a Disney store or something that I bought out some huge assortment from. Anyway, 1838. Postcard, I took 15 on this one. For Disney-wise, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Disney-specific hotel or anything to actually be valuable postcard-wise. Anything around there. This is a Disneyland Musketeer Motel. They would have stayed at Disney here. I don't know if it says on the back anything about Disney on it, but yeah, Disney at Southgate of Disneyland. So that was my take on it. And this is an advertising piece as well. They actually missed the date. If you see the date there, it's 2965 instead of 1965. I thought that was interesting, but looks like they might have had some kind of typing machine to actually put these in there, or a big heavy stamp, because it's actually embedded into the paper a little bit. But anyway, $15 on that one. Costume jewelry, $20 on this one here. This one went to like Italy or something like that, if I remember right. It's a nice early vintage piece. It looks like stone, but who knows what it actually is. It's gold tone. It's a vintage original piece. So something like this, I pay 50 cents to $2 at the very most. I never spend more than $2 pretty much on anything unless like it's a whole set or in a box or something like that. Or usually I'll try and get big lots of these from auctions and pickers and things like that. So I'll have a whole bunch bought all at the same time. postcard, another World War I. And I've been selling these like 3 weeks lately. I don't know what the deal is, but all of a sudden these picked up. These have been in my inventory for quite some time, like a year. Nowadays, I've been selling them constantly. So I don't know if there's a big tick. It's not the same people. A couple of the same people are coming back, but you know, there's new people buying these as well too. I don't do every little aspect, so it's possible somebody switched the category on it. We've got a chart, so I could go back and look, but that's the only way that I could think of anything else going on. So it might just be some hot item nowadays. You can see the price, $25.88. Next item here, Honeymoon Lane Dance Land. This is a admission for dancing, 1941. I think I took 15 on this one here. No big deal. I have like nothing into it. Had a whole bunch of oddball tickets and stuff like this from some assortment. And I've had this maybe up for maybe 2 months, 2 to 10 cents worth. Had a couple of these, sold them both. You can see the price there, so no big deal on these. It wasn't anything. I have a quarter or something into them. I think I had a bunch of these at one time, but again, I don't list more than a few at a time. Sometimes people might want 2 of the same item, but no one's going to want 6, 8, 10 unless they're going to resell it. So anyway. This one went for 20, was the offer I took on it. It's a small one, you can see. Again, I buy any of these labels I can find. We did a haul, me and my youngest son, and you'll see some stuff that I can show you in the video there. We took a camera into the facility, the big antique mall that we were at, so you can kind of get the gist on, you know, things we look for. All the stuff that I'm showing here shows up at big antique malls, all of it. You know, I don't think there's a thing there that I couldn't get at an antique mall at a certain price, so just keep that in mind. It's not the best sourcing place, but it is a sourcing place if you have nothing else around you. Again, 20 bucks. This is just a little fish thermometer. I paid $1 for this. It's literally from a junk table. And it's small. It's not a huge piece or anything, but any of these type of pieces I'll buy at that price. So, and it did sell for $17.50, so I was fine with that. Still worked too, so that's key. I got a few records in here I was just going to holler out. $25.88. Benny Kruger's. Now, he's well known. This is an early Brunswick, 1920s, Chili Bon Bon. There's a group, and I can't remember the name of it, that did Chili Bon Bon. It's a new song from like the 90s, but anyway, it's a takeoff kind of on this from what I got gathered of it. Foxtrot, meaning it's jazz. Let's see here. Early newspaper. This is a local one, 1927. Travel information. Some other things going up towards the leading in the 1930s, start of the World War II era, and the Great Depression and all. So this one was an interesting one. 10.15. I marked it down and it sold right away. This one did go for $49.99. This is just some leftover stuff that I had from a big G.I. Joe lot that I had. And I think I showed the G.I. Joe haul. I've literally have maybe 1 or 2 single items left from this haul. Everything else is gone. All the pieces and bits and figures, everything sells on that. I never worry if it doesn't sell immediately. So if it's up for 4 months, I know it's going to sell. So, you know, I've got maybe 20 cents most, or I've got 8 cents at the bottom end if it's part of my first 10,000 listings. So anyway, next item here, just some little trinket thing. I had a couple of these too, and this is another one of those items. Now, when you go to some sales, you can go to like wholesale sales and auctions like that, where they just auction off just bunches of stuff that were like made or never used, still in the box. And I find stuff like this a lot. It was all made by the same printers here was the key to this one. And I bought a bunch of different oddball items. I had like 25 of these in a box still at one time. I think, yeah, I still have one left on that one too. 1312, as you can see. Real picture postcard. I took 15 on this one. It's just a cockpit, and I have no idea what the plane is. So, you know, and it's been up for, geez, maybe 2 months at the most. So, you know, either way, good price on that one. I talk about these two. This one did sell for $22.49, and it was going to England too. I can't believe I didn't get a picture of the bottom of it though. But oh well, it's still sold, so I'm okay with that. Let's move on here. Sgt. Pepper's. Now, people think the movie Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band is the Beatles. Now, the songs are the Beatles, but the Bee Gees are playing the Beatles in this. So Just FYI. Well, not necessarily the Beatles, but the lead, Sergeant Pepper's, his Lonely Hearts Band, and that's what it is. There was trading cards from this. There's some other famous people. Steve Martin was in it, if you weren't aware of that, too. Again, I've had this up for a little while, so let me mark it down. I did 25% off on all books and magazines, and we sold, I don't know, 5, 6 a day on average while the sale was going on. Increase, not that we didn't sell any besides that, but we sold an increase of 5 or 6 every single day of the week that I had the sale going on, plus what we sold normally. Certain items I don't mark down at all. If it's below $10, I usually don't mark it down at all. I'll just take whatever. It's low enough, somebody will offer me $2 if that's all it's worth, usually. Battery, $17.50. No idea if it works. I've talked about vintage batteries. Any vintage battery like this that's in good condition always seems to sell. And I don't know if you can recharge these or what you can do with these, but they always sell. I've talked about these before. I've been told you can recharge them and still use them, but I have no clue on that. Next item here, just the sheet music, the Cookbook of Love. It's a large format, early jazz. I took 15 on it, and, of course they paid shipping, just like everything. Everybody pays shipping. I never give free shipping. And who knows what it's worth. I, again, pay at the most usually $1 or less for every sheet music. And at auctions, I can pick up 50 pounds of sheet music, sometimes for 20 or 30 bucks. And that's no exaggeration on the price. You have to know a little bit about sheet music, because for that price, you could end up getting, 50 pounds of just junk sheet music. Because there's more bad sheet music than there is good sheet music. But if you know where to look, what to look for, and how to buy it, you're usually pretty safe on that. So anyway, I didn't spend a ton of time on this one here. We've had a pretty busy week, and I'm still sorting the records. We took a bunch out to store them somewhere else. We have a facility that we store stuff at, too. So these are moving eyeglasses. They're shot glasses. The eyes move. Now, there's a ton of these around, so this isn't some rare piece. I see them in the boxes occasionally, too. This one I didn't get the box with. I had one with the box in it from the same time. That one sold immediately, and then this one sat around for a little while. The other one I made so much money on, I wasn't really worried about. It wasn't a huge profit, but I paid almost nothing for this. These were $0.25 a glass, so I have $1 into them, and, that was it. Let's see here. This is just a little shirt button. I've sold 2 of these. I had 5 originally. They're all gone now, but I sold 2 of these with this listing here. Again, I don't list anything if I have multiples all at the same time. Keep yourself a list somewhere of which ones you have multiples, if that's the case may be. There's many ways to keep track of that kind of stuff. I usually pretty much know when I pull this out, I can see, hey, I've still got some more anyway. Even if I didn't, go back and look, I'd still know it. So anyway, this did sell for $11.24, this button. So, and it's just a small metallicized button of some sort. So Vasella's Italian Band. I think I took 15 on this one. The bottom line I ever sell a 78 for is 15. Just FYI, if it's worth less than that, I usually don't even mess with it, just because shipping time and everything into it. That's my cutoff point, and I'll just tell them that's the bottom end, take it or leave it, and it sold for 15. So let me see. I just got a few more items here just to show you some other items. Next one, just a buckle, $9.99. I had a bunch of these. And I was at an auction and they were selling wholesale lots to stuff left over found in a big warehouse downtown. And there were some buckles on the top, so I wasn't sure if it was all buckles or what. I picked the box up. It was heavy, so I knew there was something big in there. And it turned out to be like 400 buckles, all new, still in the plastic, from the 60s and 70s and 80s. So this is just one of them. I've sold a ton of these. I've got like maybe a nickel or maybe 10 cents into the buckles at this point each. So I've been blowing them out $9.99 a piece. And all these Eagle patriotic ones sell really quickly. So I think you can see the back. Let's show you the back on this one here. Typical, just what you see, nothing fancy. Known company, Indiana Metal Craft. So anyway. Here's just a stack of Sean Connery posters. Nothing fancy again. Shellaco is the only one I think that I've seen in modern times. I didn't see The Next Man. What's the other ones on here? The Anderson tapes, I haven't a clue. And Meteor, I don't remember that one at all. So I used to watch Sean Connery movies, but, back in the day when he was James Bond too. My favorite James Bond is Roger Moore. Always has been. I haven't seen a new one since Roger Moore, basically. We tried to watch a couple, and Pierce Brosnan would have been a good James Bond if he would have done it right after Remington Steele, but, you know, its time had come and gone in my book. I don't see or watch any of the new ones at all. I just grew up on Roger Moore and, you know, the early ones, Live and Let Die and all those, so anyway. And the last item here, Byron Harlan. Now, I took 20 on this one here. And it's Uncle Josh. It's a Cal Stewart classic. A lot of other comedians did it back in the day. Byron Harlan. And it's a colloquial style of conversation, basically. You know, and it's just his first time seeing a car, the first time here, first time there. It's just like an oddball topic on these. And I usually sell anything with Cal Stewart, depending on what it is. Even if I sell it in a lot, because usually you can get the Comic 20s records for, I don't know, a quarter, 50 cents a piece usually is what I get them for $1 on these. They've been picked through. Monologue just seems to be pushed to the side. I'll buy the Monologue ones at the right price, and then I'll just hang on to them and just list them as they go. You're going to hold on to some of these. This one was up for, I want to say 4 months. So you're talking, you know, 8 cents to 20 cents to list it. You know, a whole listing for an entire year is only $1.20 at the most, or it's 24 cents, depending if it's my first 10,000 listings in the store. So, you know, there's not a lot involved. If you know it's going to sell, you know, if it's been up for, you know, a year and a half, 18 months, that's usually my cutoff, and I'll start to look at them again. And you can sort your listings by how long they've been on eBay, which is a good thing. It's through the hub. You can customize it, and then you can literally, you know, sort that column, the time frame on, you know, list date, by how long it's been on, and just attack it that way. That's the best way when you have issues with things. But, well, there you go. There's some more items that we sold. Hopefully that gave you some ideas and some thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified when I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.